Hey everyone, welcome to the Underswell. I'm Derek Sabori. Thanks for being here. 2, 1, and we're live on this side. Hey Katrina.
Hello Derek, how's it going?
It's going great. We're live across the channels. I'm here today with Katrina Cravy, an Emmy Award-winning journalist, speaker, communications advisor, and presentation coach. And like we were just saying, welcome to the show, Katrina.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to talk to you and all your listeners and viewers out there. I know you've been bringing them great content, so I'm just happy to be included in that.
Yeah, thank you. Well, you're going to add to that great content. I know that for sure, and I appreciate that. Thanks. This has been sort of a labor of love, a passion project for me. It's something I'm really excited about. I got to take a second here because my dog is howling at the siren that's outside. So
I heard the siren. I didn't hear the dog.
We're going to take a net. She's got this like pitch perfect howl that she matches the siren.
Oh, wow.
And
wait, no, I think this is a moment. Okay, so I coach people on whatever, like you think it's a mistake. I call it a moment.
It's a moment, and there's nothing
So
I can do
let's hear
because
the
she's in
dog.
the other room. She's outside, but she's so loud. And we always usually kind of stop and admire her because it is pitch perfect. Her little howl to the universe. And I don't know if she's like stressing concern or letting us know something's going on, but it's really funny. So that was our moment.
That
with
is
Jay.
a really great moment. And, you know, like during COVID, I trained a lot of people about how to be better on camera. And people would freak out like, oh, my kids walked into the room or they did this or whatever. And I would say, like, invite them in, like introduce them to the like we've never had an opportunity to be so interactive in our professional lives and let a little bit, I mean, you don't just push your child away. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't have the right look. So you being able to talk about your dog's howling is perfect.
And that's probably good. I think since the time you were on TV doing, newscasting, a lot has changed, right? The vibe, I would imagine, of how we present ourselves on screen, how we portray ourselves, the work we do, it's evolved and changed a lot. And that'll be one of my questions for you, right? But it's freer now. Do you have more freedom to be yourself, would you say?
Oh, yeah. I think, well, look at all the influencers that are out there. I mean, never before have we had the opportunity to be our own channels like you're doing today.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't around 10 years ago. So now we're seeing people show up, and if they find the audience that resonates with them, they keep clicking up.
Well, I want to know, it's funny, the last time we spoke, Katrina, as we were sort of prepping, you're out in the upper Midwest. And the last time we spoke, you were on tornado watch. How's the day going today? How are things?
Everything's fine. Our house is still here. I know it's always great to start a conversation when I'm like, I may need to go into, the basement because there might be a tornado. It's a great way to start a conversation. But yes, thank you for asking about my Wisconsin friends. We're all okay.
Oh, good. Well, at least you guys, not to make light of it, but at least you know it's coming. Yeah, out here in California, we're just sort of waiting for the big one to happen, and we never know.
I know. And I grew up in California, so I totally get the earthquake aspect.
That's right. Well, I want to know, we're going to talk a lot about your professional pathway, your career, the work you're doing, what you've done, but kind of besides work, what keeps you busy these days outside of work and being an entrepreneur?
The thing that's keeping me the busiest right now, thankfully, is the clients, right? Like I'm working with companies, organizations, nonprofits, and even some government agencies on what everyone's really wanting from me is how do I have executive presence? If we're doing succession planning, how am I going to recognize the people that need to start moving up in their careers? And then the people that are in those spots are like, hey, give me some of that gravitas, give me some of that charisma that's going to help people see me and promote me. And that's a big issue because a lot of people aren't trained in like the little aspects. I call them little, right? They're called soft skills. Really what they are, I call them power skills. And it's that ability to attract, engage, and motivate people around you or your idea. So when you're thinking about executive presence, or what I like to call charisma, it really is that ability for people to like and trust you. And that is something that keeps me really busy because I want to build a world of confident communicators. And it takes time for people to pick up on some of these, learnings and nuggets that are very helpful for them and for their careers.
Yeah. I want my first question is before we get too far along, I want to dive into all of that and really get a sense of who you're helping, how you're doing it. But is that something that can be learned, that executive presence and that charisma? Obviously, you're in the business of doing it, so I know your answer. But tell me how it can be learned for people who are like, I just don't have that charisma.
Derek, you're not like, I have a friend, a very good friend of mine who's in television still, and she's like, you cannot teach charisma. You either have it or you don't.
Right.
And I'm like, no, that's not true. I mean, some of the things, it's not an urban legend, right? Like it's some of the things when you look at really charismatic speakers, there's things that they do with their facial expressions or their body language or their vocal delivery. If I'm going to take it up a notch because I'm getting excited and I want you to get excited about my, that can be trained. Or that dramatic pause that sucks the audience right in. Like all those little pieces are bits of acting. And then it's about that charismatic speech and word choice. A lot of people struggle with word choice, and especially in meetings where they don't choose the right words because they're not thinking about the audience first. They're thinking about themselves, what they want to get across, but it's really bringing all that together. So I said, if you can see somebody, you can dissect it. And there is science around this, the training. And because a lot of times I get in front of, especially if I get in front of engineers, they're a little skeptical on this stuff. And they're like, okay, show me the science around this.
Right.
And there's plenty of science, plenty of studies that I can show people, like first impressions and how we as humans make those decisions on if we like and trust people and how fast we can do it. So all those key pieces, I know it can be taught. I have seen my clients get better. I have seen them feel more confident when they get off the stage or they get done with a media interview or they have a really big meeting that they're prepping for and they're like, I nailed it. Everything was great. Right? Like, that just takes practice.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm almost, we were talking right before we jumped on, I'm almost a little intimidated knowing that in my mind, I can't help but think that, oh, Katrina, you're as a coach, you're always looking to critique. You're always thinking, this so well. And I can't help but thinking, you're thinking that I'm doing something right. I'm doing something wrong. So I'm like, I'm try to be my natural self.
And
here.
what did I tell you? I told you I was nervous too.
Exactly. Which is, you said, if you're not nervous, then you don't care. So it's good to be nervous and to maybe embrace that, right? Embrace that energy.
Yeah. If you are get really nervous for a presentation or anything that you have to do with public speaking, you should be. And you should actually be more worried if you're not nervous. The worst people that I've ever interviewed, I'm sitting there on the TV set with them, right? And usually in the commercial break before they're about to come on, I'm like, hey, how you doing? Is there any questions you want to ask? Go back and forth with them. And then I'll say, are you a little nervous? And if people said, yeah, I'm a little nervous, I'd say, that's great. That's exactly what you should be. But if I had somebody go, no, I'm not nervous at all, this stuff doesn't bother me, I would start to freak out because as soon as the red light went on, they saw themselves in the monitor, and I have had people just crumble. It's like, that's when they first realized that they were going on live television.
Wow.
And so it was really a clue to me that when they say they're not nervous, this interview is not going to go well because they haven't prepped, they haven't given it the energy it deserves, and when it happens, it's going to hit them like a ton of bricks.
Well, I love that we're just here in our first few minutes of this, Katrina, and you've already dropped a whole bunch of great advice for us and for listeners and for me. So thanks for that. I always like to mention how my guests and I connected because I really think it illustrates, the power of connections, getting out there, doing things, putting yourself out there. We met at this multi-day sales training program that was really for entrepreneurial types like ourselves. We ended up in a breakout session with the urging of kind of creating accountability partners. I know what was going through my mind at that time. I was like, breakout session, like accountability, I don't know. And I was hesitant and I broke out. You were there. Another woman was there. So what was going through my mind was like, oh boy, what was going through your mind? Because it ended up being great, but I don't know. What was your first thought in that session?
My first thought was, is anyone going to turn their camera on?
Yes.
Is this because I'd been at breakout sessions before in this group where no one had their camera on and they didn't even talk back, which I was like, this is really weird, right?
Yeah.
And so I was so thankful that all of us turned our cameras on, and then we began to talk, because there is a 7-38-55% rule on communication skills, that 55% of your communication is through body language and facial expressions.
Okay.
So for the audience, if you're coming to meetings on Zoom or Teams or whatever without your camera on, you're cheating people of 55%
Wow.
of your communication skills.
Wow, yeah.
So I was just so thankful that everybody turned their cameras on and that we had this really great communication. And then the other thing, and I'm sure you were probably thinking this too, is the accountability. Like, everyone says, yeah, let's hold each other accountable. But, then you're like calling each other out on stuff, and then the relationship starts to dwindle.
Yeah.
And thankfully that hasn't happened with us.
Yeah.
We've still been doing those calls, which is great. It's been really useful. And you were doing the speech then.
I was going to
You
say,
were about to give the commencement speech.
that little breakout ended with me hiring you, even if for just briefly, for that review of my commencement speech. And you gave me some great advice, and it created a business transaction, and also both ways, right? And now here you are as a guest on the show. So, and I think we've got these these biweekly meetings that we're doing. It's just been all around good. And I look back at that and go, that was good to kind of push myself to go stick with the breakout, turn on the camera, participate, engage. And look what's happened. It's been great.
Exactly. I know. It was so serendipitous that you were giving that speech, and you were wonderful. I mean, you just came across to the audience, and for the people that don't know, I assume everybody knows that you gave the commencement speech.
They may or may not. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. No, you were terrific, and you came at it with the right energy, and the fact that you were even like, hey, I've got it all put together, which it really was already put together, like just quick review of my stuff. I really appreciated having that opportunity with you, so that was cool.
Well, thank you, and I can vouch for your services, your expertise. I mean, just we sat briefly, we went through it, and you immediately gave me feedback that I was like, oh yeah, that's good. I can apply that. And you were so gracious as well when there was something I'm like, I tried that, I don't think it worked, and like you just were so supportive and great. So I can definitely advocate or what's the word I'm looking for? Tell people that yes. Hire Katrina.
You can
She's
use
great.
all those words. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Well, let's start there, because I do, how when it comes to that, how important for you has networking and connecting with other people been in your professional, journey?
It is huge because I would say, like, I tell my son all the time, and he's 19, and I know your kids are in the college age too, in high school. Networking, your net worth is your network.
That's right.
And it's the amount of people that you know. So just to bring people up to speed, I did like almost more than 20 years of television here in the Milwaukee market. So my name recognition was really great, but I went out and did public speaking events whenever I was asked, at nursing homes, Rotary, Kiwanis. Like, I did all those speeches, and I wasn't paid for that. I simply did it because I wanted people to know me, like me, trust me. I also did what we call Contact 6, which is the on your side reporter. So if you have a problem with a company, you call me.
Like a consumer advocacy show kind of thing?
Right.
Yeah.
So I wanted them to know, like, I really am your advocate. Like, I really believed it. I had a boss one time that was like, I can't believe you believe in this stuff. I go, we're not just marketing.
Yeah.
Like, I really want to be this person. So because I had done all those public speaking events, one, it gave me more reps on my keynoting and getting out there and speaking in front of people. Two, they really knew me, right? Like, they're able to go home and say, hey, I met Katrina today, and she's like she is on TV. And so that built my career, and it took time.
Yeah.
I mean, it took a lot of time to do that. But I would tell anyone, if you're thinking, okay, I don't want to go to that networking event tonight, I'm tired, I just want to go home and get in my PJs and order some Chinese food. I hear you. But you have to go there, because just like us going into that breakout room, you never know where you're going to meet somebody that could be the opening to your next new career.
Yeah.
You don't know when you're going to meet the love of your life at an event. And if you're not out there, these things don't happen. And I'm just so naturally curious about humans and people, and I love to be out, that I recognize, like, if you're an introvert and you're like, networking sounds like a lot of work, and I hate talking, to people, strangers, I understand. But if you can just turn on that charisma switch, give it a little bit of energy just for a little while, it can pay dividends for you in your career.
Yeah. And I had a guest who told me, he hated this idea of using the word networking, but everybody kind of says though that if you kind of go into it, it's a give and take, right? You can go in there saying, you know what, well then look at it as you're just going in there to mine valuable things for yourself, but you're not going to be able to mine things without giving a little. So it is a give and take, but I think it's about changing your perspective on it as well, and knowing that. And also changing your perspective on small talk, because networking also comes with small talk. And I recently read a book. I can't remember the two authors. It's two women. It was really fun. But just kind of saying, hey, small talk is a really valuable thing that you should learn to do. There's an art form to it, and it leads its way to networking, and good things come from it. So another learned skill, I guess, and just kind of changing the way you look at networking, right?
It is. If you go in there, and I see it's helpful being a reporter, and I love journalism, and I think that journalists are really the people that are naturally curious. If you go in though thinking like I'm a reporter and I just want to learn things about people and I'm going to ask questions, then you don't have to worry so much about talking the whole time. Really,
Yes.
some strategic questions that you okay, I'm going to go to this networking event. What do I want to learn from people? Like, have some of those questions. It'll be easier to have conversations.
Because people love talking about them. They love telling their stories. So all you got to do is ask.
All you got to do is ask, and you can take so much away. And then the other thing, just to give a little piece of advice on networking, how you say your name and how you come across. There's some science that says if you say your name slower, people will remember it. We're bored with our names because we've known them our whole lives, but you say it too fast. Like, say your name like you would at a networking event.
Hi, I'm Derek Sabori.
Okay. So if I was really to remember it, you would say, hi, I'm Derek Sabori.
Sabori. Wow. Okay.
It's really slow. And then 2 seconds before you say your company's name, I'm with. And there's science that shows that people will remember it more. But we go too fast over our names.
Yeah.
And we discount ourselves. And
Interesting.
It's just an easier way. I had this one guy at a networking event. He was terrific. He's like, okay, I want you to think of me like the Monopoly guy. I'm in real estate and I buy up streets and put commercial buildings on them.
Oh,
Like,
you'll never forget him.
Right. Like, now you've given me a metaphor, right? Like,
Yeah.
I actually attached to that. So think
A visual.
what you do. Right.
Wow, that's good. Yeah, that's great. Let's kind of pull on that thread a little bit on how you do things. Your LinkedIn About section says that you're teaching people how to capture the hearts and minds of their target audience. You're teaching people the secret to having executive presence and charisma, which we spoke about. So maybe kind of walk me through, unpack that a little bit, and tell us, how that relates to what you do and who your typical client might be. I know you touched on it briefly in the opening, but dive in a little bit.
Yeah. So capturing the hearts and minds of the audience, to me, the audience is everything. Part of charisma and executive presence is having empathy, really understanding, like truly understanding your audience. So even preparing for today's conversation, like every story I'm going to tell is hopefully going to have some lessons for you, the listener and viewer, like go to networking events, right? Like we can tell funny stories about, okay, I took a major stage dive off of Milwaukee television and the community caught me because I had gone to so many networking events. But the turnaround is the lesson. So the people I'm helping right now are giving big presentations. They have big media interviews. I have a client who was interviewed by 60 Minutes. I'm the CEO storyteller for one of the CEOs who's been asked to speak on international stages and panel discussions because you want to stand out in panel discussions too.
Yeah.
And my job is to go, okay, who's the audience and what do we want them to do at the end of this? And how can I market you? Like how can I put in some verbal branding in your answers that are going to make sure that people remember who you are? And that's a very important piece in keeping the audience engaged.
Yeah.
I had a CEO who was speaking in Poland and he was asked to speak on the buzzwords of the industry. And I came up with this idea of buzzword bingo. So everyone in the audience got a bingo card, and anytime he said that particular buzzword, we would check it off. And his marketing team made the cards, put his name and stuff on it. So the marketing was right there sitting at their seats.
Smart.
And then they were engaged with a prize at the end. Like those type of things is just making it more fun for the audience and telling them I cared enough about you to put some effort into this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's smart, and that sounds really interesting. Do you typically work, I think, with executives and corporations, sort of in group settings? But I would imagine so you work one on one with them, or in these group settings, and you spend a decent amount of time with them. Is that right?
I do. So we do a lot of half day and whole day trainings so that you get the foundational learning. Come in with a videographer. We put you on camera. You get to see if you have any noticeable things in your first impression or body language that may suggest that, go against what you really want to get across. And then the group you get to coach yourself. The group coaches you, and then I step in and coach you as well. So those are like the day trainings. But then, of course, people are like, well, I have events, I have things that are going on. Can you help me write this and put this together? And I love helping them write it, helping them perform it. Like, okay, you're going to spend this long on the stage over here. The podium's over on that side. Do not forget that there's still chairs over here. Like, you're going to have to address them. Everybody in the room needs to feel the love, right?
Yeah,
like, we need to think about all of that. And a lot of the questions they have about confidence monitors, I don't know if you've ever...
Yeah.
It's on stage. You have a confidence monitor so you can see the slides that are coming up.
Yeah.
Like, that's not something that everybody does every day. And when you have a coach like me that can come in and say, okay, these are the things you need to be aware of.
Yes.
And now let's practice it till you feel so solid. You're going to be a rock star up there. You'll get away from the podium. You won't read your script. You'll understand what you need to get across.
So valuable. That seems like really valuable training. I was lucky enough to do a lot of engagement work with my alma mater as the Alumni Association president. So I got to be on stage a lot, give a lot of addresses. And you're right. There were so many things that I learned without a coach that it would have been nice to have, ahead of time to say. But by the end of it, of those few years, I'm like, okay, I see, I get it. The value of all the different things. So such a valuable
and you learned it
service.
was all the reps you did.
Yeah, exactly. Your role as an executive communications advisor like this, it didn't really come out of nowhere. I know based on previous roles, your education, that communication, storytelling, and charisma, these have always kind of been at the center of your career. Is that fair to say? Was this always at the heart of things for you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it definitely was. My family is like, they're storytellers. I don't know about your family, but, sitting around the campfire or just any time, just telling stories that were so funny. I just loved listening to my grandparents. And so and my grandfather was a manager at a grocery store. He was charismatic.
Yeah.
Right? He taught me how to shake hands really early in life. Like, okay, no limp fish. You got to get right in there. And, I'm like, okay. So all of those things played a role. I ended up going into broadcast journalism in such a weird way. I was 16. I was on a beach there in California at Newport Beach. Mm-hmm. And my cousin and I were sitting on the beach and trying to figure out what we were going to do with our lives. Why we were doing that at that age, I don't know, but we were.
It's what we do.
I know, it's what we do.
The beach brings out those conversations.
I guess. But I was telling her that I really liked writing for the school paper, and I liked performing. I liked being on air for the stage, doing performances at school. And she just looked at me and she was like, you're an idiot. You should just combine those two skills and become a TV reporter. And it was like, oh, yeah, you're right. I should do that.
I love that one that you said she called you an idiot because you weren't recognizing it, or that you just didn't see it, and then that to her it was so obvious. It sounds like
to her it was so obvious. She's also my biggest critic, which is so for her to tell me that she thought I could, because there's something about thinking that you're good enough to be on television, right? Like as a child or a teenager, that was like, am I being too? Am I just being too highfalutin for myself to think that I could be on TV? So if Cindy said that I should consider this, that was a huge thing because she was only a year older than me, and she would have ripped me apart had I come up with the idea myself.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes we need people to guide us in that way, but you listened because then that's what you went and studied in college then. Is that right?
It is. I went to the University of Southern California. Got a broadcast journalism and a political science degree. I was first in my family to go to college, so I was paying for college myself. And I really wanted to know, is this going to be the career I want? So for anyone listening to this, I went and interned very early, or even do a job shadow. Like if you have the ability to job shadow, there can be nothing worse than paying for what you think is going to be your career. Those first couple years out of school, finding out, I hate this.
Oh, no kidding.
I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
So I at least was able to intern early before I went to broadcast journalism. And thankfully, I loved it. I loved everything about it, and it was the best career for me. My cousin, now in our 50s, she's like, you never came up with an idea for me.
You owe her. You still owe her, right? Meanwhile,
I do. I still owe her.
You're racking up Emmys and getting your, all of this, and she's like, what about me? But hey, she gets her credit. We're giving her credit here on the show.
Yes, we'll give her credit.
So that was, that's really interesting that was your flashpoint moment, was having her tell you that, because then from there you just kind of, your career just sort of, rocketed through. What was that first internship that allowed you to sort of start to break into the industry?
It was an internship at Channel 47 in Fresno, California.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, I didn't have to have a college. I wasn't in college yet. I did it through high school, and then I did it every summer through college.
Okay.
Yeah, now you have to be getting college credits to be an intern, but that's not the way it was back then. So that was really good. I learned a lot. And then I got my first job in Parkersburg, West Virginia. So I drove from Los Angeles to Parkersburg, West Virginia to become the weekend anchor and 3-day-a-week reporter at WTAP.
Wow. So you went from intern to on air to the East Coast.
Right after I graduated. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because everybody in my career, you just have to start at a small station and just start doing it.
Okay.
Right? Like there's no prep work. You just got to go and start doing it, which was terrifying. Being in another state. But the good thing is you're in a really small community. No one knows you. Mm-hmm. You're brand new. I was paid $6 an hour. I had a furnished apartment for $240 a month.
Wow.
And I know, it's crazy. And my grandfather kept asking me to come back to California and become a manager at Taco Bell, because he's like, you'd make more money. I'm like, I know.
But I can't. You stuck with it.
I stuck with it. So for parents out there that are like, oh my gosh, my kid's getting paid nothing after college, I hear ya. If they believe in themselves and they're like, hey, I can do this. I believed in myself. Thankfully, I got the job in Milwaukee. I was for 1 year, I was in Portland, Oregon, and that's a top 20 market. Markets are set up like New York City's number 1, LA's number 2. Parkersburg, West Virginia was 195.
Wow. Okay. So small.
So that's small. And then getting into Milwaukee was a 30 market. I think we're 33 right now.
Wow. Okay.
And Portland was a 20. Then I came back to Milwaukee for friends, and I got the job at Contact 6 and taking care of people. So that was great. And then I met my husband at the station, and every winter I wonder if I really love him. But I do, and I will stay here in Wisconsin because, as he likes to say, you've lived here in Wisconsin longer than you've been in California. So
yeah, he always has to remind you, I'm sure, to make sure you don't bring it up for too long.
Right.
And you end up staying there for 18 years or so as on air, doing that show. You have a great career there. I also, on your webpage, you've got that you worked in the office of President Reagan. So you've had some really interesting moments there, and a lot of your posts just show kind of the times you had on air. It just seems so fun and like a really interesting, fun career.
It has been. I'm so blessed. My motto is live to tell the story. And it's been a really interesting story, the things that have come my way. When I got the internship with Ronald Reagan, it was after he got out of office and came back to California.
Okay.
So he had an office in Century City right before we opened the presidential library. So I was part of the staff that helped open that library.
Wow.
And I was a junior in college.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And when you have a guy who's been considered the greatest communicator, it's not just me. I mean, there's books that have been written about this. No matter your politics, Reagan was excellent at being able to grab the hearts and minds of an audience. And he did that a lot with his acting skills.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew how to give that feeling. And he came to the office every day. So it was amazing for me to get to talk to him. And I mean, it just was blowing my mind. I would come home every day and be like, my friend said it was like I had a bluebird on my shoulder. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Well, what a great opportunity, though, to learn and fine-tune your craft and just kind of, observe and kind of go, okay, I'll take that, learn from that. That's really valuable.
Yeah, it was really valuable. He taught me, and I always like to, okay, I'll drop the name of Ronald Reagan and then drop the name of Bob Hope, because he told me that Bob Hope told him that before he was about to shoot a commercial, and I was there, and he needed some really hot water. He said, almost make it scalding. And I said, okay. And I brought it back, and he said, because it takes down the phlegm before you're getting on stage or you're going to do a commercial.
Oh.
And I said, oh, okay, that's really interesting. He goes, you just sip it, but it takes away anything that might be in your mouth that wouldn't make it pure broadcast.
Wow, we're getting so many good tips, Katrina. This is great. Thank you for that. With all of that, though, you've got this great career that's evolving and happening. You've climbed the news station ladder, if you will. But how did you know it was the right time to go out on your own then? Because now you're out on your own, building your own business, building off of your experience. So tell me a little bit about that. What's been good about it? What's been tough about it? Let's get into it.
I think you understand too. You never really know it's the right time. I prayed about it a lot. It was an idea that would not go away. It wouldn't go out of my head. So I interviewed thousands of people, right? I put a microphone in their face, and I thought they should be better at this. Like, why are they, like, these are some top ranking officials and people that I'm interviewing. And I'm like, I don't know if they've ever had any proper training to come up against somebody like me. So I was just like, okay, what do I do? And I just felt like I had gotten, I don't want to say bored, because I loved every minute of television, and I still do. I still fill in occasionally, and I have so much fun. Yeah. But I just really kept thinking, I need to leave. And I didn't know what that really was, and I knew that I would just have to figure it out. And I think there's also a part of it, too, is especially aging as a woman, I didn't want to be caught off guard and have a decision made for me that I wasn't making myself. So I wanted to make my own decision to leave and then try something new, is really what it came down to. But for everybody else out there, you just don't know. You just have to take that leap of faith and try. And then listen to the audience. I mean, it has constantly changed since I left. Yeah. When I first left, everybody was asking me, how do I get on your talk show? So there were all these small businesses that wanted to know, how do I get on the show? How do I get a story or a segment for the news to cover? Yeah. And so I wrote a whole book on air insider secrets to attract the media and get free publicity. Yeah. That was my first, okay, that's what I'm going to come out with. But over the time, it was like, yeah, but what if I do? I'm no good at this. Then it turned into teach me presentation skills, teach me personal branding, teach me executive presence. So that's where I'm going now. But you have to constantly weave, right? Like, you have to keep listening to the audience.
Yeah, and be able to pivot and recognize when things are changing. Because I think you brought up a really good point. It's one thing to land the spot and get on there, but if you're not ready and you flop once you're on the spot or you get that interview, then it's a lost cause, right? Right. Well, Katrina, let's take a quick break. I want to come back. I want to touch on that a little bit more and kind of get your perspective on how your role has changed and sort of where your new emphasis is going, and even sort of how that felt, writing a whole book and going down one avenue only to find that, oh my gosh, everything is shifting over that way. So when we come back, we'll talk about that and then get some advice from you for career builders. So hang tight. Hi, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the episode. I'm always so inspired and motivated by these career stories, and I hope you are too. And I wonder, are you looking to be featured on the show? Each week, I chat with an invited guest who is an expert in their space or who has compiled a stellar resume. If you fit that description and are interested in being a guest, just hit me up at Derek Sabori on LinkedIn. And here's something else to consider. This show platform is for hire. I build professional and personal podcast profiles for people who are looking to stand out in a crowded marketplace. You've heard my guests say it's your personality, the way you connect with people, and your ability to relate and communicate that will help land that next job, client, or customer. So let's show off your personality, not just your resume, and let's do it on a podcast. Head over to theunderswell.com to learn more. And now back to the show. And we're back. Hey, right before the break, you were telling me that you had written a book, On Air, Inside Secrets to Attract Media and Get Free Publicity. It was sort of an earned media handbook, but you also mentioned that it's one thing to land the spot. It's another to show up and have charisma. So how has it been sort of, you write the book, you put all your effort into it, and then find like, oh my gosh, I've got to kind of change my direction here. The landscape is changing. Probably maybe your mindset changed a little bit. Walk me through just sort of how things have evolved since writing that book.
The landscape has definitely changed when it comes to wanting to attract the media, because traditional media, people are not watching as much. I mean, I feel, and I may be wrong on the statistic, but somebody had just recently told me that in the last 10 years, viewership of nightly news has dropped like 80%.
Oh, wow.
Because so many of us are getting all of our news from our phones.
Yes.
And especially the kids listening, they're watching TikTok, YouTube shorts, right? Like all those little pieces is how they're finding out any information. So that definitely changed. So some of the wording and the language in that book has changed. Now, I have a formula, the must-have formula, which is you got to have your hook. You have to have audience benefit, like what's in it for you.
Yeah.
V is you got to be visual. And then the E is you got to be engaging, right? Like you have to have all those pieces. So it wasn't that I was so far off in the first book, because that E, engaging, is still a big piece.
Yeah.
And you're right. There's part of me that's like, oh, I have to write another book. But I've enjoyed it. I'm writing one right now. It's called The Charisma Switch. So it's like turning on that switch, and it'll be good. It's going to be like a filler, a workbook, so to speak, for everybody who wants to be better. And truly, that charisma and your executive presence, getting the attention of the media, if you can get the attention of the media, you could get attention from anyone. So I've had sales teams use that must-have formula for even writing their emails.
Oh,
and putting that out there. One of the key pieces is that people don't realize as an anchor, I went to tease writing school, how to write a tease to get you to come back after the commercial. So
see, right, again, there's you. I'm like, oh my gosh, I probably did a horrible job of coming back from the break.
You did. No, and you cannot let your naysayer get in your head, Derek, because you're doing great. Really, seriously. I say I like to name my brain, and mine is Betty.
Oh,
and I say, Betty, shut up.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah.
But right, it's the teasing and telling them what they're going to receive afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating how to do that, but it really works. And if you're wanting emails opened up, I've had people who are like, whoa, I did a couple of tweaks that you said, and we had it normally takes the executives 2 weeks to get back to me. I had 7 out of the 10 within the first hour.
Wow. Yeah, so it's the same thing as sort of writing those news headlines or things as you're scrolling that you're like, oh, I gotta click on that one. I mean, you're trying to get the click.
Well, and in business, think about how many emails we get where it's just the subject letter is meeting, or right, like the product model number or anything like that.
Not very engaging.
It's so boring. You're like, yeah, I kind of know what that is, and you're just scrolling by. You got to do something that captures a little bit of intrigue.
It's so interesting that there are so many points that you're touching on, whether, email headlines to, being in the interview or being on stage or all the different things. There's a lot to keep in mind.
It's communication on so many what I call distribution channels.
Yes.
But you're one person. You have a personal brand. What is your brand voice, and how does it go out on all the omni channels, right? Like on everything. Mm-hmm. So, and are you coming across consistently everywhere?
On all the channels.
And it's hard. I mean, I struggle with it all the time. I look back at things that I wrote and I'm like, oh, that was so me 2020. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and we should always be evolving. We're always learning. We're always getting better. And I think, as I look to you for some advice, which you've already given so much, but for individuals who are, just recently graduating from college, let's say, they're seeking to transition into journalism or communications, what do they need to know? We just said that space continues to evolve, but what advice do you have for somebody who wants to get into this field like you were?
Don't give up. It doesn't happen overnight. I think that's good advice for any student that's getting out of school now. You know, you hear so much of managers saying these kids are thinking that they have $100,000 entry level job, right?
Right.
Be realistic.
Yeah.
Know that it's going to take time and that you have to be the same brand, like same person. Your reputation is everything. So if you can go an extra mile for somebody, they will remember you. And that is like getting back to your emails, communicating early. I just had a call with somebody who I ended up hiring somebody else because he just didn't get back to a text fast enough. I'm very fast. Like I want to get things done within a couple days.
Sure.
If I
Yeah.
don't hear back from you, right? That's the thing that for students I think is really important is how are you showing up? Are you getting back to people? Are you taking care of business?
Right.
I mean, really, take care of your business.
It's a simple concept.
Right, right. And I would think that a lot of people, like, well, they're going to be like, hey, boomer, you know, this and this and that. Well, yeah, snowflake, like, look up from your phone and let's have a conversation. Because if you can do that, you will be promoted so quickly as a young person. Because right now, like, somebody that can pick up the phone and actually call someone and be able to say, I'm calling for this reason, this is what I want to do, and navigate that conversation to an end, that's a skill set that I don't think they're teaching in college. That's something that we as parents have to teach.
That's right. Yeah, that's a differentiating factor at this point.
Right. And that skill will let you rise up in your career, no problem. But you have to be able to look people in the eye and have that conversation.
A good advice and a good reminder of why I really pushed my kids to get out into the service industry, work in restaurants, to have to kind of be busy, be very, very busy, and still engage with people and have conversations, look them in the eye, and because your tips rely on it, you know. So
they do. And didn't you meet your wife there?
I sure did. We both met working in a restaurant. So yeah, we are big fans of working in restaurants when you're through as you're building your career.
Social skills.
Yeah, you really did. It really enhanced it. And especially if you're doing it every day, 3 days a week or whatever it is, you know, 6-8 hours at a time, you're going to get those reps, as you said, that repetition of greeting people, opening the business, marketing to them, selling them a product, fulfilling the service, closing your books, accounting for it at the end. You know, it's like there's everything in there. So great opportunity to practice entrepreneurship.
Right.
I want to know if you would look back for you over the last, you know, let's say 5-10 years or more, as you scan your, you know, all the professional decisions you've made, what were some of the biggest lessons that you've learned from it all? Were there common threads that have kind of run through it, transferable skills? When you look back, what are some of your big takeaways?
I think the transferable skills is being able to have conversations with people. And no matter what you go into is meeting them where they are and asking them enough questions about themselves that you even know how to start the conversation. Yeah. I think that would be the biggest takeaway. Over my career, there's been some things that were really disappointing to me, but I think the ups and the downs, like for me, it's my faith. Like, okay, ups and downs, no problem. I'm very big into my profession and what I do, but I have to constantly remind myself that's not the end all be all of this world.
Yeah.
And that has kept me level because, and it's not to say I don't struggle with it every day still, right? Like,
sure,
who I am and what I got to do and how do I show up? But really, it's like, okay, if I'm a good human, and if I can make my son into a good human, then that's really the job for all of us. And I would just think that that's really what we want to get out of everything that we do.
Well, and I think you can show up and bring that attitude and sort of that vision to everything you do. And like you said, that's going to be what's going to drive you through. And it's like, just show up, do a good job, be a good person, be kind to other people, and it's going to all work out. And let's hope. And those are the things that people are going to remember about us anyway. You know, no matter how great your business is, they're going to want to know, but were you a good person? How, you know, what kind of relationships did you leave this place with? So I think that's a good reminder.
Do people still want to talk to you?
Do they still want to talk to you? I want to know, I'm kind of throwing this one out of left field at you a little bit, but I want to, you know, looking back to college, because when we originally spoke, you're a USC grad, you mentioned that already. And I just wondered how you mentioned, you know, you've got a college age son. How important was your college experience to you, that alumni network? And how do you think it relates to young people now? I'm going to tie this in with like, what do you think young people kind of face in the workplace today? Tie that in with college. Yes or no? Is it important? All of that. Yeah.
Yes, I'll pull it all together. Yes, I loved the University of Southern California. They were extremely helpful to me at the time when my parents were going through a divorce my senior year in college, and they really took care of me and made sure that, like, helped me with getting the Pell Grants and all the scholarships that I needed to continue to go to school.
Yeah.
So that was huge for me, and I love being an alumni of USC. That is terrific.
Yeah.
I have not done a good job in keeping in touch with a lot of the people there, partly because of moving to Wisconsin, and it just wasn't something that, and I know that there are programs and groups here, and I think when you and I've talked in our accountability things, I'm like, yeah, I should probably check that out and see, where I could get involved. It may be Chicago, but I'll figure it out. I have a USC license plate holder. I don't know if that counts.
That counts. I was going to say the Trojan Nation is strong wherever you go. So I know they're out there. You just got to reach out.
Yes, I'll just reach out. I'm still driving around advertising, so that's good. As far as, and I cried for 3 days when college was over. My mom was wondering if I was going to be okay. I'm like, it was the best time of my life. I'm like, I was an RA for 3 years as well. So it was just a really an amazing time. And I'm saying this being the fact that I graduated when the LA riots were going on, and we had National Guard at our graduation.
Oh, wow.
So, and I still, it's like, it wasn't scary to me. I absolutely loved that school and what they were able to teach me and how they helped me. I mean, they really did. The people in the department really cared. So that was cool.
Yeah.
For my son now, to tie it back into what he's going to the University of Madison. I was going to say University of Southern California, UW-Madison. I wish he would have gone to Southern Cal. We could have moved out of the winter.
That would have been that was your chance.
Yeah, that was my chance, and now it's gone. He goes to Madison, and he's going to be a sophomore, and he's loving it. So I'm very thankful for that, and I know he will be involved with them as well. His father went to Madison, his grandfather went to Madison, so there's a legacy there, and they've really loved it.
Oh, that's cool. Well, that's great. Thank you for that. Let's start to wrap this up, Katrina, so you can get back to all the work that you're doing, your clients. But I want to know a couple things, I guess, out on the horizon. What's exciting to you about the future of your business or your career? What are the next stages look like? What do you think the next few years look like for you?
I'm very excited about the new book. I think that'll be interesting. I'm interested in finding a publisher. For the last one, I self-published right out of Fox 6 when I was working there. I'm excited to get that together and to learn a little bit more about the publishing world and how it works, and see if that can be something that will really catapult me into different audiences that I've been part of. I love to be in front of doing the keynotes, and I think whenever you have a best-selling book, some of the people that I've seen on stage, that's what they've done. And so if there's anything in your career where you want to go, okay, I see myself being like that, dissect it. Look at what they're doing, how they did it, ways that can help you, because they say, like, there's really nothing new under the sun. It's a matter of you looking at it, dissecting it for yourself, and maybe adding a few new features on it. Yeah. And I think that's really a wise thing for all of us to do. You don't have to spend so many years reinventing the wheel. Look at what's out there and then see what people are needing and then fill that niche. Or niche, or however you want to say it.
That's funny because I always like to say niche, and then I'm like, it sounds so, as the word you used earlier, highfalutin. It's like, is it niche? Is it niche? Let's go with niche.
Yeah, we can go with both. If you say both, then we got to cover it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's wrap this up, Katrina, with some advice. Do you have any? You've sprinkled in so much advice in here, so I don't expect there to be any. But are there any strong takeaways that you want to leave the audience with? And like, hey, remember these things. What's really important to you that you want people to remember?
The biggest thing for me is remember the golden rule. Like, treat people like you want to be treated.
Yeah.
When I watch the news now, I'm just shocked at the level of our lack of communication and how we treat people and being kind. And I know that I'm probably Pollyanna, and you'll have to go, hey, Snowflake, go check up what Pollyanna means, because I know I'm always like pie in the sky, want everything to be perfect. And I know that can't always be, but I think if we were a little bit more kind, that people would hear us more. And for me, as a communication advisor, I want people to be heard.
Yeah, I really like that. I'm with you on that 100%. I always look at it in terms of like the dinner table. Like, how would you speak to somebody that you had over to your dinner table? Like, you can have a disagreement, you could have a conversation, but if they're in your home and you're having dinner with them, would you want them? How would you present yourself at somebody's dinner table? How would you want your guests to interact with you? That's how I kind of look at it. So I'm with you 100%.
That's a very big thing, and not just in face-to-face, but our online communication through social.
Yeah, dinner table ethic, we could call it, or I guess, huh? Well,
Yeah.
Katrina, the last few minutes here are yours. I'd like to kind of open up the mic for you to kind of give a shout out or a call out. It's sort of your soapbox moment. If you want to close us out with anything that you want to give a shout out to, anyone, anything. You've got your book coming out. I do want to say, what's the timeline, do you think, for it? And I know you're looking for a publisher, so before I open up the mic to you.
Yeah, it could be a while. I don't really know. I would say in the next 6 months. We'll talk about this in our accountability meetings.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to hold you 6 months. There you go. You just planted the flag.
Yeah, exactly. I will at least know something. I would think in 6 months. Although if I'm going to get on my soapbox, I heard something the other day that was kind of interesting from LL Cool J, which took a lot of pressure off of me because I'm very big onto deadlines. You know how a journalist, it's like, okay, when I say 5 o'clock, whatever you've gotten done by 5 o'clock is going to be on the air at 5 o'clock. But LL Cool J said that dreams don't have deadlines. And that really reduced a lot of stress for me because I can get myself pretty wound up.
Yeah.
So if you're an entrepreneur and you have some dreams, start making plans, because you can't just be a dreamer. You got to be a doer.
Yes.
But don't be so caught up on the deadlines.
Brilliant. Who would have thought that we'd be referring to LL Cool J to close us out? Katrina, thank you so much. You gave us so many inspiring kind of thoughts and things to consider. It's been really interesting kind of, getting to know you and learning about your professional pathway. It's so intriguing, and just best of luck on this new chapter and the book. And thanks again for sharing your story and your advice with us.
I appreciate your time. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Hey, everyone. Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what you heard, be sure to check back weekly, subscribe to the show. And if you want to be featured on the show, come hit us up at theunderswell.com. We'd love to hear from you.